Greetings, pilots and passengers. Today I have an article from Daily Expose, and I'd like to discuss this because I think it focuses on a topic that is very important and something we have seen time and time again in recent years, especially recently with the past year, everything that's gone on. We've seen a lot of what I'm about to discuss taking place. And what we're actually talking about today is censorship. And censorship from big tech companies. We've seen in the past, with the past US election, there was a lot of censorship of conservative voices, particularly on social media platforms. And now we're seeing it with the current situation in the world, the current pandemic. We're seeing a lot surrounding that too. The article focuses on Facebook particularly, as Facebook has deleted a group which had 120,000 members in it, where people posted stories of their experiences and reactions, negative reactions to getting the jabberoo. This was a very, very big group, as you can tell, 120,000 people in it. That is a lot. And it was called the C19 Jab Victims and Families. And the idea of the group, as shown from the screenshot, is for people to unite and for victims to share their stories so they can be heard and can eventually hopefully get justice. As shown in this screenshot, this group was growing by over 10,000 per week. So it's not like it was a very small group, it was a really big group, and it was a big community of people who have unfortunately had negative experiences to the jab, to get in the shot. So Facebook has deleted a popular and rapidly growing group on its platform where members would share stories about alleged negative C19 jab side effects. So the group, as we've seen, C19 Jab Victims and Families, had over 120,000 followers when it was removed from the social media platform and was gaining more than 10,000 followers per week. The shutdown of the page follows the announcement by the tech giant of new restrictions that limit what users are allowed to post about jabs. So they are limiting what people can post because, of course, they say fake news, they would also say misinformation, and they would say that they do it for your fact checking, making sure the information is factual and from a, as they would say, authoritative source. Under these new rules, these claims are now banned. You cannot say anything that says that the jab is not effective at preventing disease that they're meant to protect against. You can't say that. You're not allowed to say that the C19 is man-made or manufactured. Claims that it's actually safer to get the C19 than actually getting the shot, and saying that the classic phrase of it's toxic, dangerous, or causes autism. And I would add to that a whole host of other health issues, but we're not discussing that today. Additionally, Facebook are adding fact check labels, and you've probably seen these fact check labels before. They're absolutely everywhere to all posts regarding C19 and the jabs. You will have seen them probably on your newsfeed, and if you have Instagram, obviously Facebook own Instagram, so you'll have seen them all over Instagram too, the little labels that say whether it's false, true, or where you can get more information. They literally cover posts and censor them, so you have to say that you want to see the post, otherwise you can't even see it. So the labels state that jabs are safe and direct users to sources Facebook have deemed being authoritative, such as World Health Organization or even the CDC as well. Not only is Facebook censoring what users can post about the C19 and the jabs, it's also aggressively promoting pro-shot content from health officials, non-governmental organizations, and the United Nations. The interesting thing to add would be, if you were to say that that was happening, you would be censored for it, and you can't say that they're doing that. As someone who maybe doesn't believe in the censorship that's going on or believes it's not really taking place, then maybe it's worth stopping and questioning why they are pushing all this positive propaganda. So the pro-jab content they are pushing is posting messages at the top of newsfeed via the C19 Information Center that they've called it, which makes it easy for people to see where and when they can get a shot. They've given $120 million in ad credits to health ministries, NGOs, UN agencies, allowing them to reach everyone around the world with information on the C19 and the jabs and things like that. And they're also partnering with governments to create WhatsApp health lines that share jab information over WhatsApp, and so they can reach out to people through there. I don't really know many people who use WhatsApp now. People have moved away from WhatsApp since Facebook have taken over it, and I know they're on Telegram now. Facebook isn't the only big tech platform who are censoring content that questions the narrative, goes against the grain, goes against any messages that are being pushed and put out by the media, government, anything like that. Twitter are doing the same thing. Twitter have got their own policy regarding what they will class as false information, which they have labelled as the emergence of persistent conspiracy theories, alarmist rhetoric, unfounded in research or credible reporting, which they're basically saying anything that doesn't come out of the mainstream media cannot be credible whatsoever. As a result, it means that if people are listening to this information, they're going to put other people's health at risk. They're going to make uninformed decisions. Here is some of the false or misleading information they are going to be removing, or actually, like we've seen with Facebook, labeling with fact check labels. Anything about transmission, anything about susceptibility, symptoms, or even the interesting one here is saying that the C19 and the jabs have been formed as a part of a big conspiracy by elite groups. You're not allowed to say that. You can't say anything like that. That's really bad. Everything Bill Gates has said about viruses and things like that, and his foundation.
First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Just ignore that, guys. That's not part of a conspiracy against the people or anything. Just leave it. You can't talk about treatments. You can't say anything about effects, which Twitter themselves say have been widely debunked. You can't say anything about the jabs causing health problems. It's been debunked. You can completely 100% trust Twitter because they're made up of scientists, they're made up of doctors. They've got a really great team dedicated to, just settling the science, figuring it out. It's the usual things we've seen before in terms of you're not allowed to say really anything that they would class as false or misleading. You're not allowed to share, for example, research findings such as misrepresentations or of unsubstantiated conclusions about statistical data which advance a specific narrative that diminishes the significance of the disease. So even if the research findings come to a different conclusion to the narrative, you cannot post that. You really cannot share any information like that because it goes against the narrative. It goes against everything that is mainstream. You're not allowed to post anything to do with that whatsoever. The article concludes here that the Daily Exposed can speak from experience about the war on free speech in reporting the truth, as Daily Exposed themselves are constantly targeted by Twitter and I would say other social media platforms too, with various account warnings and limitations, restrictions and such. And also, for those who believe that the jab is completely safe and has been introduced for the people, it's worth taking a moment to question why these big tech platforms are going to extreme lengths to censor victims of negative reactions to getting the shot. Why are they going to such extreme lengths to censor them? Censorship is an issue that we have seen and come into contact with time and time again. I know many people probably watching this video, you may have probably been censored at some point in your time on social media. Twitter it's so easy to get limited on there just because people have differences in opinions or believe certain facts or don't believe the mainstream shenanigans that's going on. Censorship is a real issue, and I think, as much as we know that it takes place and exists, it's worth discussing and it's worth examining and seeing how far they're actually going to smite free speech, to smite these people who are speaking out and sharing their experiences. I think the past year has been a really great opportunity for these big tech platforms to really swoop in and introduce new censorship guidelines and new restrictions, new limitations on what you can and cannot say online. They get away with it with the guise of protecting people from misinformation and this terrifying monster that is, fake news. And yeah, they get away with it very easily. But of course, we have to mention the rise of alternative platforms such as Gab and other platforms to YouTube, for example, like Rumble and Brighteon, which are worth checking out if you're struggling to find content creators who you may have watched and they've just disappeared. It's probably because they've been kicked off the platform. So it sucks. It is terrible to see people's freedoms being limited and not being able to speak out about their opinions and thoughts and share them, but unfortunately that is the world we live in, and I think people are honestly very fearful of speaking up against big tech because it's difficult to do without actually being limited or taken down yourself. Anyways, that was today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know what you think down below in the comments. Have you been a part of this group? Are there other groups like this that exist that have replaced it? Do let me know down in the comments below. Remember, guys, if you'd like to support the channel, please do subscribe to Dare to Fly Today and get ready to take flight. Like and share this video with others. You can support the channel even further by donating to my Ko-fi page, my PayPal, or even by Bitcoin, and links to all of that is down below in the description box. All the donations really go towards supporting the channel, so thank you all very much for your support. I hope you all have a really wonderful, blessed day, guys. Stay true, stay awake, and stay blessed as always. And remember, fly high, fear less.